Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Pan Dulce. Welcome. This is Wednesday, February 27th, our Coffee and Pan Dulce edition, direct and live from Charlotte. I want to thank everyone who's joining us today, those who are watching us on our Facebook Live page, but also on YouTube and your other favorite social media apps. I hope I said that right for our director. So welcome to Coffee and Pan Dulce. I want to welcome back one of our favorite panelists, Miss Ruth Perez. Welcome. We have missed you. It is welcome. Please introduce yourself once again.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Buenos días a toda mi gente. I'm happy to be back. I'm sorry I had other things to do, but I can't miss being on this table. I love it. And especially when we have to cheer on coffee.
Oh, we're going to do it early. Here we go. Salute. Welcome.
Welcome. So, we have a very interesting topic this morning.
Yes.
So let's get rolling because time's flying.
Exactly. So thank you, Ruth. And I want to thank everyone who's watching us. And also just to let you know that Jeff Scott is going to be, we're actually going to be calling Jeff Scott. Last week he was in Raleigh doing some things with the 9th Congressional District, and he updated us. And we're going to be calling him at 10:30 our time, which is in about 20 minutes, a little less than 20 minutes, to update us on what happened. A lot has happened in the last just couple of days, in the last 24 hours. So we've got a lot of information. So we'll be talking to Jeff Scott directly. And I also want to say that hello to our wonderful friend, our brother, Tony Foreman, who is not with us, but he did celebrate Dominican Republic independence.
Yes,
is that correct?
yes.
That was last week or
as
so?
a soldier.
Hi,
Tony.
It was so, Tony, we miss you. We can't wait to have you back on here. So welcome. Buttons. You don't have any buttons, but if you...
I brought my city my city button.
If you will tell us briefly about that so I can share.
I am a community advocate for the city of Charlotte, and I do sit on one of our best international cabinet board for the city of the mayor's office, and I love to be there. Practically only the Latino besides Federico Rios in that panel, in that group of members. So I've been serving the city for the past, this is my 3rd year. So I'm very happy.
So you were appointed to that?
Yes, I was appointed by the city mayor.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you for what you do for our community and having a voice on there as well. My button is this is probably the 3rd time I've worn it, but it's so important to share this, especially what's been going on in our topic, Latinos Vote. I do believe that with the incredible surge of our population, we're the fastest growing LatinX community in America, here in the Charlotte region. Also, the Latinos and Latinx individuals are the fastest growing demographic in North Carolina, and also in America as well. And so we are at a point, I think, in our political maturity, so to speak, here in North Carolina, where we have determined several elections. I believe we determined the governor's election. I believe we'll be determining a lot of elections in the next several years, and hopefully joining forces with our black brothers and sisters to make sure that our brown and black voices are heard at the table, which is exactly will help us with the topic we want to talk about today. The topic we're going to talk about, go ahead.
And you know, when you just said right now to be heard on the table, let's make sure we get some Latinos not to be heard on the table, but to be sitting on the table and expose themselves. To be the voices from the outsiders out there, those people that can't talk. I want to applaud our new president from the North Carolina Hispanics, David Salazar.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Salazar was just elected the president of the North Carolina Democratic Party Hispanic American Caucus.
Yes.
And
we're happy to have him on board. I'm also very, very eager to meet one of the city councils down in Durham or Raleigh.
Yes.
That is Latina also. I'm very happy to hear all these Latinos that are raising up and standing up and making sure that we're not just hearing what the table has to spread, but we're bringing our voices into the table.
You know, Ruth, I'm glad you said that because I was actually on the conference, I guess, call, because I was here in Charlotte and the meeting was at the Goodwin House, the Democratic headquarters in Raleigh. And Mr. Marshall Adami, who was a former president of the Hispanic Caucus and also ran for state party chair, who I supported because I believe we need diversity in our state party, Democratic Party, and hopefully he will run. He also ran for Congress at one time. He may have been the very first Latinx individual to run for Congress in North Carolina. I'm not sure if that's my dad. Anyway, he gave an incredible speech about the power and of our community and what we have done and fought. And he's a veteran and fought in all. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Latinx and Latinos Americans have fought in we're the only demographic that has fought in every war in America from the every war
every single
in America.
war.
And
we have Latinos out there.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so thank you, Mr. Adami, for what you say and what you do for our community, and all of our Latinx brothers and sisters out in the Wake County area and Raleigh, Durham, and all. They're doing some incredible
They're
work.
doing great, outrageous stuff that I feel like moving into their county.
Well, please don't, because we need to move things forward here. So
Yes.
Our topic is once again we're going to talk about the ICE raids once again, and the ICE raids, even though they have not been as much in the news in the last 24 hours, they are in the news because we are. Our community and our allies and many communities are asking our elected officials, our leaders in all of our communities to speak out against this. And as you know, if you've been following this show, we've been following the ICE raids since they really started to occur, probably January or so forth, in retaliation for the 287G program that was passed. The voters elected our sheriffs in North Carolina who ran on the platform of getting rid of 287G, which is pretty much a targeted, racist, and bigoted type of program. And when they were elected, they did what they said, which is democracy. And Donald Trump's Homeland Security decided to retaliate against many of our communities by increasing the enforcement, or at least making it more public, making it very targeted to our brown brothers and sisters, which has Jeff Scott had explained this earlier. They're just going after people who just look like
They're
me,
just
like
fishing.
you.
They're just fishing.
That's the term. That's the term.
You know, they're just throwing out the little hook right there, and they ask you because, I mean, I feel even though I'm a U.S. citizen, you're a U.S. citizen, our skin color, it's not white. And that's the issue. Because it calls my attention. We have a lot of immigrants that are not necessarily our color. They're from Europe. They're from South America. They look white, but they don't get stopped. Well, and that's something that we have to kind of bring that to the table as well.
Well, I agree. And that was, I think that's one of the reasons. Well, there's many reasons many of us are outraged, but one of the reasons is because it's so blatant and obviously targeted towards our Latinx and community. They're not targeting non-brown immigrants.
Correct.
They're not targeting the immigrants that are in Ballantyne or they're in Myers Park. And the majority of immigrants that move to Charlotte move to Ballantyne.
Yep.
And so Ed Driggs, who is my city councilman who represents Ballantyne, hasn't said a word about this, but yet he represents an area that has a majority of immigrants. Why? Because they're not targeting those immigrants. And it's so blatantly racist and bigoted and targeted. And so when we have elected public servants that don't say anything, it is a slap in our face, and it's a slap in the face of just good decency. And so anyway, to talk about this, and I'm very excited that we're talking about this because the mainstream media is now picking this up. We've been talking about this for a while, which is one of the great things about having this show, is that we're able to talk about issues that impact our community that haven't really made it to the importance of the mainstream media, the Observer and some of the other stations, radio stations, all the radio talk shows here in Charlotte. They don't necessarily talk about Latinx or immigrant issues. They talk about a very niche demographic that they're going after, and that demographic is pretty much fading from advertising dollars, which I'm so glad I said that. Our sponsor, we forgot, the terrible host.
Oh gosh.
We want to thank our sponsor for our Pan Dulce once again, Mrs. Hattie Blau from Blau Catering. Thank you, and Ruth, please help yourself. Blau Catering is able to provide what you need for your office party, your quinceañera, any event that you have. No event is too small or big. Please give us a call at 704-805-0269. Blau Catering at 704-805-0269. This is some of her products that we love to eat, and please make sure that you support her and her business as well. And also, if you are interested in sponsoring our show and some of our other projects that we are working on, to reach out to the fastest growing demographic in America, in Charlotte, and in North Carolina for sure, that has the most dispensable income of any demographic in North Carolina. Please spend your media dollars and call Kali Lily, the event coordinator, Talent Agency Corporation, at 980-477-1513, 980-477-1513, or shoot us an email at coffeeponduce@gmail.com. You can see that on our Facebook page, and information about how you can advertise with us. So with
and
that,
also share
yes,
our posts.
And what we do, we're pretty organic. We share as much as we can. We are out in Boston, Massachusetts, and Florida, and New York, and Miami. And I understand now that we have people from San Antonio and El Paso. Your neck of the woods.
Yay, I'm in Texas, yeah.
That's right. Well, we have to be careful to say we're Texas. Anyone who's, first of all, the majority of people who live in the Charlotte region aren't from Charlotte. And that's what makes us so great
That's
here.
what makes us reach here.
But you can't be from Texas, and you're always from Texas when you're from Texas. Even though we're Charlottinians and North Carolinians, we're from Texas.
We're from Texas.
And we're always going to be Texans. But of course, we love being here because this is our home. Yes. But there's a certain
passion.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Before we start losing more viewers. All right. So what happened? We had the Day Without Immigrants last week that we walked, and then we had some wonderful events where LULAC, Latin League of United Latin American Citizens, Domingo Garcia, who's actually from Dallas, Texas, is the president of that organization, and they came out with a statement last week, maybe a little bit before last week, demanding and asking on behalf of the national organization for Governor Cooper and to speak out against the ICE raids because of what was occurring. The targeted ICE raids. Still no word. We heard silence. We have been, and many people in our community and our allies as well have been asking our mayor, Val Lowes, why she has not spoken out, or why other people on the city council, because it's not just the mayor, there's other people, the at-large individuals.
7 mayors throughout North Carolina.
Yes, tell them what happened.
7 mayors throughout North Carolina. They came out with a letter and signed all together unanimously, all these 7 mayors condemning the actions of ICE raids.
Exactly.
And they were not going to tolerate have families separate in our country.
And the Charlotte mayor did not sign it.
And it's interesting because the Charlotte mayor belongs to that.
Yeah. Well,
she's a member of that, a group of mayors in North Carolina. But
she decided not to sign.
She decided not to sign.
Well, interesting. All we knew is that she did not sign it. We didn't know why she didn't sign it until the city council meeting on Monday night, when she explained why she didn't sign it. But before then, I also want to say that Reverend Dr. Barber even came out last week, and through his organization, the Poor People's Campaign, came out and also has joined the movement with the NAACP, National Organization of Women, ACLU, now Charlotte. They're always involved in trying to help and do what's right for everyone. These groups have come out and asked our elected public officials to at least speak out against these targeted. You don't have to speak out against the political side of 287G or whatever. Just speak out like you would speak out for anything that's decent as a human being. And our mayor refused to do that. There were members, to give them credit, Braxton Winston, Lawana Mayfield has mentioned, Dimple Ajmer, I think, has mentioned.
I'm very sad and heartbroken with Lawana Mayfield because she has not. Out of the first vote that mayor needed. She mentioned she needed 6 council members vote in order to do the letter.
Now explain what you're talking about. So
in order for her to do the letter in public or come out in to do a public declaration or statement,
Sure.
she needs to be in accord with the city council members. So at that meeting,
that's what she's saying.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
At that meeting,
It's not true, but that's what she's saying. Yeah.
At that meeting,
Because she can say anything.
she can as a person she can.
Yeah.
Only 4 of our city council members voted pro that letter.
So she's saying because she
Julie Eisler was not present that day. She was out. But Ed Riggs was there. Kiri, whatever his name is. I'm sorry.
The one that's growing the beard now. That
and he's an immigrant as well.
Yes.
But he refused. LaWanna
Sure.
Mayfield stayed quiet, and that really heartbroke my.
Yeah.
I really felt bad because we have supported her so much, and I'm talking about support where sometimes our immigrant community might not be eligible to vote, but they go and speak and talk nice about LaWanna or any other member to the ones that are able to vote, to drag them into the voting. So that really, really was sad.
Well,
only 4 of them, and let's give credit to Braxton, Matt Newton, Dimple Ojmera, and the other one was I can't remember what was the other one.
One of the other one. It wasn't Smudgy or Smitty. Whatever his name is.
No.
Yeah.
It's Matt Newton.
You only see him when he wants to be in front of the camera talking about how he likes the Panthers.
Thank you
and all that kind
for
of
mentioning that. That's
Yes.
something that we have to kind of, but that's going to be another topic.
Yeah, that's
Anyways,
another topic.
Let's move forward.
Yeah. So,
but all those
Sure.
4 members, thank you all.
So on Monday there was a organic group of individuals, people who had participated in the March of the Day Without Immigrants. A national organization of women joined. Hector Vodka and Action NC. I don't know if it was officially Action NC, but they joined. Some other members had joined, and the young lady that helped organize this, I'm sorry, she knows what I'm talking. Yes, she did an incredible job of organizing people to show up and try to pack City Hall, to show our faces, our voices, the concerns that we have about how people are being treated. And it was a great turnout. There were some very passionate speakers. There was also some very educational information that was given. A gentleman by the name of Jorge Milares, who, by the way, will be on our show in 2 weeks, I believe. He'll be one of our panelists. He'll be here in 2 weeks, and we're happy to have him. He spoke, and he gave us some great facts about the amount of people in the construction industry who are maybe undocumented and so forth, and what that would do to our economy. All of this data, a lot of people brought Melba.
Melba was phenomenal.
She was
silent.
She was wonderful.
Oh my God.
Yes, she was really good. Tara spoke. There was the young lady next to me whose dad or grandfather is a minister, and she quoted the Bible. There was a lot of very passionate individuals, and we even had another lady who was there speaking on an issue that was concerning to her with the adult industry, and she turned around and supported
all entertainment.
Yes, and so there was the demographic and the individuals.
She also stood up for the immigrants.
She did, and that and it was good to see that. So what I'd like to say is, yes, it is extremely disappointing as a person who has supported almost all of the Democrats on our dais on the city council, who have, we've done everything that we could to make sure that many of them got elected. Even when they didn't support me when I ran, we still supported them, or at least my family did. And to see their silence was a slap in the face, not only to our immigrant community, but to so many of our families who have just done what we could to help them. We helped when people were trying to bring LaWanna Mayfield down with the comments that she made on social media.
Yep.
We defended her. We said her right to speak, and I have. It's not like she owes anyone anything, but just the decency that we've shown her and her as an LGBTQ member of the DICE.
That we stand behind
yeah,
her.
that we
That
stand behind.
We're there.
Exactly.
We're supporting her. We believe in her, and we thank her for everything that she's been doing in that side.
And I've got to just
Jeff's
hold a
ready.
second. Yes.
Jeff's ready.
We need to call Jeff Scott really quickly. And if let's see if this is, I'm going to talk while I call him real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, it is very. I feel that we are being humiliated. Because to me, what we're going through as immigration, what it's doing and all that, that's something that has to touch everyone's heart. If you have a little bit of humanity, you will feel the pain of all these other families, all these kids that are being targeted. Jeff.
Hi. Good morning, Jeff. I'm so sorry. I think I might be a minute late. I apologize. Thank you for standing by and taking our call today.
Sure.
So tell us, where are you?
Put them on the sides because this microphone.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So, my name is Jeff Scott, and I'm the roving correspondent for Dulce. So, Ruth, quickly, can you tell me, ¿cómo se dice roving, or cómo se dice wandering correspondent?
¿Cómo se dice wandering correspondent en español?
Wandering correspondence?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ¿cómo se dice en wandering correspondent?
How do you say it in Spanish?
Estoy. That's a weird word. Estoy.
All right, Jeff. You stumbled her.
We have to teach Chris a Spanish word every episode.
Oh,
yes. That's right. You're my.
How would you say it, Jeff?
I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I was going to look it up earlier, but usually when I'm there in
Wandering correspondence.
But right now I'm used to roving correspondence. In any case, so where we left off last week.
Oh, estaba deseoso en corresponder.
Okay. We're going to have to write that down.
Yeah. I have no idea what she said, but that sounded right.
Okay.
So tell us. You're going to update us. Thank you for participating today, and I know you've been on the road and you called in last week. So tell us. Can you update us on what's going on in the 9th Congressional District?
Yeah. So last time we spoke, if your listeners haven't been paying attention to the news, you know that I called in last Wednesday morning, and that was right before we were expecting Mark Harris, who's the Republican candidate, to run. We were expecting him to go on the stand, but a surprise witness was called, and that was his son, John Harris.
Okay.
And John Harris, revealed, and I'm just going over old news now because everyone should be aware of this, but, John Harris testified that he did indeed talk to his dad about it, and his emails were made part of the record, and so it's pretty clear that John had warned his father, that his father had said in public that, I didn't know anything about this, and so there was a real conflict because, that means Mark Harris had to say, well, I heard what my son said, but I didn't want to listen to him because, even though he's a highly accomplished attorney, very sophisticated young man, I didn't think he was right. I thought he was being arrogant. So Mark Harris looked, unfortunately, he looked a little foolish. So at the very best, he looked a little foolish. It continued to get worse for him.
Jeff, I have a question. You were there, and what we saw, what you were talking about, Mark Harris's son, that was one of the persons who was speaking, and the media has said that he was like a surprise witness. Was it really a shock and surprise? Did people really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It may be that the staff of the board, was shocked and surprised that they called it, and it may have been that. I know that the Bartolomé and the person suicide in the previous defense did not know, and I'm pretty sure that Harris's team did not know, or if they did know, I don't know how they would know. So it's not clear if they knew or Mark Harris had an inkling that this was going to happen. So
Okay.
whether it was a surprise not.
Sure. It was
You
damaging.
know, it was very dramatic. And so at the end of Wednesday, I can tell you when I woke up Thursday morning, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh,
And
wow.
I had a lot of anxiety, and I couldn't go back to sleep. And this is how it was affecting people. It
Yeah.
was very dramatic. I don't really have stake in the outcome.
Sure.
You know, I was indifferent, and I didn't really have to do anything. I was told by counsel that all I really needed to do is shut up and watch the proceedings.
Sure.
And let the two sides combat it, and just, not really participate. And even given the fact I had no actual role in cross-examining witnesses or anything like that, I felt very anxious, and I was losing sleep over it, and it was very tense. And I was sitting just 2 feet away from Mark and Del Harris. I
Wow.
could sense
Yeah.
the mood of the room. So after Mark Harris started testifying on Thursday, and they started asking questions. The staff asked him questions, and we got through that okay. But as soon as he started being cross-examined by Mark Elias and the team, he started stumbling a little bit, and he was having some memory problems. Actually, he said something during the staff cross-examination that made me question whether he was focused or
Sure.
not.
Okay.
So I was hearing things that I could not. Like, I didn't think he believed.
So,
For example, one of the board members asked him if he knew that coordinating with PACs, Political Action Committee, was illegal. So a candidate who coordinates with the Political Action Committee, that's
Sure.
actually illegal under election law. And
Yes.
so as a normal candidate would know that.
Yeah.
But Mark Harris said he didn't know that. So there's clearly something going on. And then they cut off the proceedings, and then there was about a 30-minute break.
mm-hmm.
And that 30-minute break, it was really the calm before the storm. All the media,
Yeah.
silent, keyboards weren't clicking, people were wandering around on their
Sure.
on their cell phones, whispering, very eerie form of calm. And then
Sure.
Mark Harris came in and read his statement, and then announced that he had been very ill.
Yeah.
He had 2 strokes, and so that made a lot of sense to me. My mother was a stroke victim, and
Sure.
had suffered the debilitating effects of the stroke.
Sure.
Before she passed away, so we know that was probably having an effect on his memory. So,
Sure.
so
Well,
that explains some of what was going on.
Well, Jeff, we're happy that even though whatever's going on, I'm ready to go and vote. Jeff.
So that.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, so eventually what happened is the board ruled to just have a new election, not just a redo, but really start from scratch. What we've been talking about could be a possibility since this first started in December. And so it's all start from scratch with primaries and everything. And then shockingly yesterday... Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, but go ahead.
Well, the thing about it is that, as you know, the North Carolina State Legislature,
Yeah.
the General Assembly, passed a law that said if there was going to be the re-election, then there must be a primary. So they passed that law at the end of last year, knowing that Mark Harris might be in trouble.
Oh,
And
wow.
knowing that if he was in trouble,
Sure.
that they wanted to make sure that there was primary. Now, the Democrats, what I hear, are challenging that law, just like they challenged the voter ID thing.
Sure. Sure.
And other things. So they may. It's possible they could be successful in challenging that law, which
Yeah.
means that there could only be a general election.
Sure.
And even though Harris has withdrawn, he might still be on the ballot against me and against the
Okay, so that
that is a possibility.
Sure. So that is a very good point to make, and thank you for saying that because I don't think most people realize that. So the General Assembly did pass a law saying that if there is another election, there has to be a primary. That was signed by Governor Cooper. Governor Cooper did not veto that law. Is that correct?
Well, because the Republicans had a majority in the
Sure.
General Assembly, my understanding of it, is that they had the overwhelming majority. So he
but the
he was powerless to stop it.
Well, but he still could have vetoed it just out of principle. He could have vetoed it and said, "I do not agree with this law." And he could have made them go on the record to overturn his veto. So, in my view, the only reason I'm saying this is because, I'm a Democrat, but I believe this myth that Democrats' hands are clean in this is counterproductive. The Democratic Party is just as corrupt as the Republican Party. And so all of this political capital that they went after Mark Harris about, oh, he's the criminal, you know what? Governor Cooper benefited from this thing in the last election, and other people benefited. The Democratic Party themselves has said that we know this has been going on since 2010, but yet they haven't said anything because it's benefited them also in those districts as well. So I think it's important that, in one breath we say we want to bring people together and work and stop this tribe mentality, but then you have Democrats who are on this just continuing to divide us as well. So I'm just, what I'm saying is that both parties, and even maybe the Libertarian Party as well. I know that Mark Harris's son said this on the stand. He said that we've got to do better than this. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians. He mentioned Libertarians. He said we've got to do better than this.
Well, I can tell you why he named Libertarian.
Okay.
He was on the stand, and I heard him say earlier talk about Democrats and Republicans, so I was ready for him the next time he said it.
Yeah.
And as soon as he got to his final statement, which lasted about a minute and a half, I think.
Yeah.
He got into his talk, and I heard him say Democrats and Republicans. And I was in the Catholic queue. I was sitting right in the center.
Oh, okay.
I was in his line of sight,
So
I started raising my hand.
Oh, that's interesting.
And making a cookie with my holding up three fingers. So he said Democrats, Republicans, and he said and Libertarians.
Well, that
no
is
choice.
That is good. Well, listen. We thank you, and I know you're out and about traveling, and I want to thank you. And I know people are asking you this. If there's a primary, are you going to run?
Well, yes, of course I'm going to run. I'm in it for the long haul.
Excellent.
To talk about these issues.
Good.
And most importantly, even if I can't prevail, we need to talk about these issues.
Yes.
People need to know what the candidates think about,
Sure.
VHS and these ICE rates and the royalty agencies and
Exactly.
cannabis and immigration and issues.
Thank you.
We are just, we're whistling past the graveyard. It's a very bad situation out there. And
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Correct.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much, and we got to hang up here because we don't have that much time left. We got to continue our conversation on ICE. Hopefully, we'll see you on the next show, or you'll call in or something. So, thank you so much, sir.
Have fun on the road. Bye.
Hasta luego.
Good job.
Hasta
Yeah.
luego. So, listen, that was great information about the 9th Congressional District, and everyone knows how I feel about wanting to make sure there's fairness
There's
and
fairness.
stuff. And,
That's all we need.
And you and I had this brief conversation before we started the show about what many of the people that we've heard speak have asked our mayor, Charlotte mayor, and our governor, and our attorney general, Josh Stein, and our Democratic chairperson speak out more than just, I don't like this. And our Democratic chairperson, who I hope gets replaced here in Mecklenburg County, our Union County chairperson, Democratic chairperson, we need to replace all of those people that are kind of doing more damage to the Democratic Party, in my view. All people care about, or all I fight for, I try to, is just equality, consistency, and give us the same standards and treatments that you give other people.
Correct.
And the reason I say this is because when I see Mayor Lyles up there, what she said on Monday about her explanation, when I see the silence from Julie Eisel, when I see the silence, and as you mentioned,
Everyone was there, just
when I
quiet.
see the silence from Smudgy, and when I see the silence from Ed Driggs, who's always passionate about issues that impact old white men, but when it impacts anybody else, he is completely silent, and he even belittles other other city council members of color whenever they challenge him. And
I'm sorry, Dimple
Yeah.
was not there. I know she's
Yeah.
having health issues, but I know that if she would have been
Yeah.
there, she would have
she
jumped
would have
out.
spoken. But to the point where when the mayor is talking about how she needs, or you had alluded to that she wanted to kind of get some consensus from the city council or whatever.
Well, since she didn't get the right vote, she decided to come up with a
The committee, which
to me is just a change of name from the
That's-
Immigration Task Force.
you know, one of the reasons, and I talk about this all the time on the show, one of the reasons I love millennials. Millennials are the generations that their BS meter is, they don't
Three
put up
times,
with
yeah,
BS.
yes.
You know, our generation,
I feel
Generation
millennial.
X, yeah, okay. Look, Generation X, boomers, and all
Yeah.
Ys.
Y'all.
You know, we in our professional environment, we'll hear baloney all the time, and we just kind of sit there and.
Yeah, and
Like,
sometimes okay.
Millennials will call you out on baloney. I mean, they'll roll their eyes and immediately,
Mm-hmm.
and so it is wonderful that happens. And anyone who listened to Mayor Lyle's explanation, they were rolling their eyes. They
We were
going,
like,
"That is-"
boo.
I mean, it's almost insulting that some of these.
I
local
heard
parents-
one behind me saying,
Well-
"You need to go out there."
Well,
Those in committees.
It's almost insulting for someone with the professional experience of her in government, but also in politics, to think that people are so stupid that we would listen to that and go, it was just such a
I
lame.
think she doesn't, and I'm sorry what I'm going to say, but I think she hasn't received the picture yet of her role as a mayor, what she needs to go out and do.
Well-
She's thinking that she's probably in her old job, out in office, sending
That-
out
that
little
she's
errands.
protected by civil servants, so she can't be
No,
fired.
like I told her
Exactly.
and I mentioned it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna
Yeah.
die saying it.
Yeah.
My taxes pay
Yeah.
her check for her to get up and go and do her job. That's what she needs to do.
Well, when we talk about it as a community, and I think other communities have a legitimate gripe as well, that there are people in our diocese that are very selective on the issues that they
Yes.
stand up for, and it's so blatantly how they do it.
Yep.
And the example I use, and as a gay male, I have been on both sides of that support and so forth. When the updating the non-discrimination ordinance happened, which started a lot of things here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area.
HB2.
The Human Rights Campaign and some white gay individuals who were big donors to some of the Claude Felter and some of the other individuals on the dais and so forth, they pushed the changing the Charlotte non-discrimination ordinance, or people said the bathroom situation. They pushed that through the city council in 2 weeks.
Yep.
They had them voting, they had them supporting, they had them coming out talking about. LaWanna was up there, Al Austin, who was our former, they had them all talking about that. In 2 weeks, the white gays were able to do that.
Mayor
on city
Jennifer
council.
Roberts, I remember she
Yes.
was there too. And
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now she wasn't elected yet, but because Claude
No.
Felter, the first vote
yes.
that failed, Claude Felter remained really silent. Said, "I don't have a vote," and he could have spoken out as well, but he didn't say anything. And so the white gays were able to do that in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Julie Isel ran when she ran, and my family supported her. She ran on fighting crime, on more police, because she was, unfortunately, she had a situation, I believe,
That she had
she
to
lived
be
in
on her own,
YMCA, and so forth. So she
got
has
assaulted.
fought that. I've heard her speak at the National Organization of Women. I've heard her, but when it happens to brown people, she's silent. She's silent. It's only if it happens to people that support her and white lesbians, white gays. It's not brown people. She never stands up for people of color that are gay.
And see, that's something
only
that we
white
have to
people.
call out and
Sure.
and pay attention to it,
Yeah.
because there's a big difference from attending
Yeah.
events
Yeah.
and being around
Well,
our community.
we're only going to see
than
Julie and some of
speaking
them
out.
when they're running for office. You never see Julie at the Black Political Caucus meetings until she's running for office.
I know she's
always,
been with us in our.
She
in our
has.
stuff.
She has.
I have not seen our mayor after she
Oh,
got
I
elected.
I
I haven't seen
I-
her. Now, something that really caught my
Yeah.
attention, you just mentioned.
Yep.
Julie started doing this because she went through a personal situation that pushed her
Yes.
to do this. Winston Braxton, she lived everything that we went through with
Yeah.
Lamont Scott.
Yep.
we know his passion.
Yeah.
Dimple Ajamara, she followed her dad's legacy and decided to do what he was doing.
Sure.
We know her passion. What about, do we know what motivate Mayor Lyles to become a mayor, to run? Do we know what's her passion? Because I have not seen it. I don't see nothing. If I don't see, I'm going to say it clear and clean. If she can't do the job, just step down and let someone else take the lead.
Well, here's the good news, is we are a forgiving culture. Some of us may not as much as others.
Oh, folks.
But yes, we are a forgiving culture. And as most cultures are.
Yeah.
And we always want to leave the door open
Correct.
for our elected public servants to still come into our community.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we have every right to share our frustration. That is democracy. That is how Americans work. I get bashed all the time.
And it's not personal.
No, it's not. It's not personal, because when we share our concern, we're troublemakers. We're rebel rousers.
Because we feel the pain of others.
When other individuals who don't look like us but live behind the gates here in my neighborhood, who are precinct chairpersons, who
And they stay quiet.
when they raise up, they're patriots, they're heroes. But when we call them out, they get really upset. Or as I said before, the bless your heart, and bless your heart, Christian, you're a racist. And if fighting for people, and anyone who's followed me knows that I try to sit in the background to support Charlotte Uprising. I'm still supporting my LGBTQ family members, even though many of them have said that I was homophobic, that whatever the case may be. We have some really racist gay people. We have racist Jewish people. We have racist Hispanic people. We have racist black people. We have racist Jewish white women who live precinct chair people that are next to me.
You have some Latinos that are not for you because you don't speak Spanish.
Exactly. But when we say it, we have every right to say it, just as they have every right. With that all said, we would like to still leave the door open for them. We still want them. We're adults. You and I, we've all worked in the professional world where we leave the door open for individuals. It's not personal.
Nope.
It is something that we have to bring up so that way they can see that at the end of the day, we all still have to live with each other, and we're all neighbors.
And that's part of having a good network.
Yes.
However, we have to understand the difference between our city leaders that we voted for. They have to do, because we chose to vote for them because we thought that was going to be a leader that was going to protect us, that was going to fight for us, that was going to look out for our own good stuff. And I'm not talking only about the immigrant community. I want fairness. I want her to step out and say, I'm here to protect the city of Charlotte. I do not agree, because we have immigrants marrying Americans, and that's a family.
Yes.
And if you allow for rise rates for immigration to come and separate our families, you're just being there and you're taking part of that. You're taking our money. You're taking your paycheck. You're sitting at a table with your whole family, but you don't know what the pain is going on out there.
And we do have to also always never forget the people that have stood with us, and we have to stand with them also.
Sure.
People like the National Organization of Women. People like our black brothers and sisters that showed up and spoke out on our behalf. The stripper, the dancer lady.
And as our leaders, you have to come out and support also the businesses that are out there.
Yes,
don't just
our Asian community, our
don't just
our
go
Indian
to your white people that pays your lunch. Don't just go to the American restaurants. Come out to Maclono. Go through the corridor from Central Avenue.
Well, that's what that's what is so mind-boggling.
We have the greatest foe out there, and nobody knows. And it's a little place, and it's owned by immigrants.
Well, Ruth, I'm glad you said that. That's what's so mind-boggling by just rational adult-thinking people is. People say, well, Val Lyles, all she cares about the Chamber of Commerce, all she cares about is the big business, the big banks. Okay, let's assume that. Okay, if that's truly her passion, business, taxes, this, then just be fair about it. Be fair about all the small businesses too. You don't have to go and shop
Don't go
on
just to the
website.
big Chamber
Yes.
of Commerce from Charlotte. Go
Go-
to the Latin American Chamber of Commerce as well.
Go to Black this
Black-
Friday.
the Asians.
Black Food Truck Friday is this
Correct,
Friday.
this Friday.
Which I've been to every year, and throughout the year they have some events. Go to that. Promote that.
The
Promote.
fish tacos.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh, they got great food. So go to all of those things. Yes. So anyway, we
Well, I want
talked
to
about-
challenge her.
Yes.
I want to
Okay.
challenge our mayor.
All right.
I know she's out of town right now. I know she took the plane yesterday. However, we are here every single Wednesday, Miss Lyles.
Yes.
We are
please.
here. We want to welcome you. We want to you have the door open here. Come and sit with us. Let's have a talk. It's a
Yes.
whole hour. Let's have a talk. Let us hear your thinking, your thoughts, your heart, like you said. You know, some of your points, and let us express what we think as a family as well.
Exactly.
You're welcome to come. And also our city council
City
members.
council members, you're welcome to come
Everyone,
on here.
it's welcome to come and speak. This is the opportunity that you have to bring back the heart of our community, because it's very hurt.
Yeah.
It's very hurt. Let me tell you.
That's
if
right.
you don't come up with something tangible within the next 2 weeks, you're going to have a big group again coming back into the city council's meeting. So
Real quickly, I just want to remind people to please support our sponsor, our Dulce sponsor, Blau Catering, who has been very loyal to us and providing the wonderful Dulce. Blau Catering, Mrs. Heidi Blau, 704-805-0269. Also, Kalilili's event coordinator and talent agency. If you'd like to advertise on our show or sponsor one of our projects, that reaches out to our Latinx community and our allies, the fastest growing demographic in Charlotte, North Carolina, and America, with the most dispensable income. That's even more. Anyone who's ever been a media buyer knows what I'm talking about there. 980-477-1513, or looking for us on Facebook. I want to say something, and this is the reason I think that I know you and I are so passionate about trying to fight for not only our community, but I know you support a lot of communities, and we try to have their back as well. When I was leaving the city council meeting on Monday, I was walking out, and there was a friend of ours who you know who I'm talking about. She's on the board of Action NC, and she was there, and her daughter is wonderful. She's got a wonderful little boy who I've been on trips with to Washington D.C., to Pittsburgh, and so forth. Well, she was sitting outside the government center waiting for her husband to pick her up.
Perfect.
And I saw her, I gave her a hug, and she's an immigrant, and her English is not great, but and she said, I said, are you okay? And I could tell she was waiting for a ride. I actually got, fear came over me. I saw her standing there by herself. And with everything that's going on, I don't think I had ever been afraid for someone, because she was by herself, of ICE coming by and harassing her or whatever. And I stopped, and I was going to turn back around because her husband hadn't parked her, and I was going to go back and stand. And I said, "Are you okay?" She goes, "No, go." I was afraid for that half second. Then I got in my car and I came home to the safety of my family. And as I was coming home, I think to myself, imagine what she and her family thinks
Close through it.
when she is every day.
Yep.
And that is why a human being would not speak out in concern. This is Charlotte, North Carolina. And I don't understand. I'm a person of faith. You're a person of faith. And there are many people who aren't. Being a person of faith doesn't, whether you are or not, you can still be a good person and care about the safety. If it wasn't her, I would be concerned about anybody. But that moment, I said to myself, and I thought, my goodness, the fear that our families have been through. And then we met that family whose family members have been
her two sons got arrested. One of them came out, and it's crazy, $13,000 just to. That was only his bond. One of them. The other one is still in Georgia. He left kids here that are born here, and that's very painful. That's very painful.
It is. These are real. These are human beings. These are neighbors of ours. These are people that work side by side with us, or at least have family members. These are people that have built Charlotte, that are building Charlotte, that provide services and keep our city great. They provide our taxes. They are tax based. They allow many of us to live.
When
the
you
lives
say
that we
tax
do.
base, I read a comment
Sure.
on Monday on the city council's meeting webpage, and someone said, "Oh, they don't pay taxes." Let me tell you, we don't get free milk if we go to the store.
Well,
We pay the same taxes you pay, and also, for your information, you don't need a social security
Yes.
number to report taxes.
there's
that you
a
earn.
lot of ignorance, but it's
So
but Ruth,
please get educated.
But Ruth, we have to be very honest. And one of the things I learned when Mark Jarrell was on our show,
Uh-huh.
and he said this, and I'd heard it before, but I never really thought about what he said. He said sometimes you have to speak truth to power,
Yes.
and that is what I've tried to learn from like someone like my Shiro, like Minister Mack, and some other people who are active in our community, and even our county commission, who I have not always agreed with. I respect the fact that she fights for her community.
Susan?
Or
Miss Pat.
Who?
Miss Pat?
Yes, Pat Cotham, all of the county commissioners, they all do such a great job. And our county commission actually has done a wonderful job on this. They passed a resolution. Commissioner McDonald has written a letter
Yes.
asking for the case. But
Everybody else did.
yeah.
The sheriff, the police department made it, put it on
Yes.
their website.
And
All we're missing is the city council.
And so, but your point too, whenever we have people, and there's always going to be people who say things that are the underlining behind their comments. is-
Undereducated, ignorant.
Well, people may think we are as well, but I
it's ignorance.
No, I agree with
Because
that.
Mark Gerald has the right. If
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you teach,
Yeah.
you hand out a key of power.
Yes, yeah.
If you get to know, you have the right to speak.
Well, the point I was trying to say is those same people that are saying, oh, those immigrants are not paying in taxes, but are taking all of our
Going to welfare?
They're
Come
taking
on.
our food stamps. They're taking our welfare. These are the same people that have been living off disability and smoking their cigarettes. And these are the
thanks
same
for
people.
saying disability. Let me tell y'all. Every single immigrant that reports their taxes,
Yeah, it's
They-
pain.
they're paying your social security
But
retirement too.
but the same people that are concerned about these people
Because they don't
aren't
get
paying
that money
taxes,
back.
They're quiet when Walmart doesn't pay taxes, Amazon doesn't pay
No.
taxes, Bank of America CEO doesn't pay his
taxes.
fair share of taxes. They're very selective on who they care about pays taxes.
Yep.
And that should tell any good, rational human being the motive behind their comments.
You know, before
Yeah.
immigrant people, they were they used to pay taxes. They would never get money back because they
Yeah.
didn't earn. You know, they didn't deserve it. They
Yeah.
just had to pay whatever they made out of
Yes.
profit. And when they became legalized in the United States, they were refund. I had a friend that got a refund of $16,000
Wow.
back
Yeah.
when he became a permanent resident. Well, that law was taken away a few years back. They're no longer receiving anything once they become legal as well. So their money, even though they're paying, they have to report their taxes, whatever they earn, the company, you know, as a 1099. Go out and do your research. Learn. Let's just not speak whatever we think or what we hear. Let's dig into the information.
Exactly. And so we're going to leave on that note, and we're also going to remind those people who watch us, especially our young Latinx brothers and sisters and those around the country, get involved in your community. Get involved for your family. Get involved in politics. Register to vote. Make sure that you have a voice at the table. Make sure they see your face at city council meetings, at precinct meetings. Make sure that if there's speak your mind. Now not everyone's going to be probably as vocal and as passionate as we are. However, whatever comfort level you feel to fight for our community, do that. Some people can write letters. Some people can make phone calls. Some people can march. Some people can run for office. Some people, you know, I've had to
You
build.
can start off in your school.
Yeah, you could get your school mates together and have conversations on these kind of because every movement and that's really what this is. This is a revolution that's occurring in Charlotte and North Carolina. It's I call the Latinx revolution that we're having here. This ICE raids, even though they are terrible, they are tearing families apart. they're going to backfire. They are uniting our community more than anything has ever united our community. And we have people that are speaking out. We have a gentleman who's going to be with us in a couple of weeks, and we'll have other members that are talking about issues. We have people, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that Mayor Lyles and Julie Eisel and those who grew up in the old white Charlotte expected our community to be as vocal.
To stand up, yep.
And I think they were probably a little surprised, or I'm sure they had a bless my heart moment. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad, because it takes, and Velma Leak said this once, and like I said, I not always agree with Velma Leak, but I appreciate the fact that Commissioner Leak fights for her community. And you need Malcolm X's to have Martin Luther King's.
Correct.
You need power to the people to have negotiators. Mm-hmm. You need all of those personalities to bring people to the middle. Mm-hmm. And so don't be afraid. If you're an activist and you're out there and people say you're a troublemaker or whatever, do what you feel your heart and your passion is, because by you doing that allows other people to negotiate for our community and because they would rather work with probably someone less confrontational as me than someone like me. At least right now they are. So, get involved, and I'm very optimistic, but I also want people to understand every day that our mayor and our city council and other people remain silent, the more families are ripped apart and things are happening in our community.
And they might be ripped apart, but every single day she and their cabinet stays quiet, it's provoking a bigger white wave for our community to stand up and make you either do what we want you to do, or we'll make it on a larger stand. Well,
I've had conversation with other Democrats. I can just speak as a Democrat, and I'm sure the Republicans, have their own issues that they have when they're fielding candidates. But, people said that Jennifer Roberts lost the election because how she responded, or how they didn't like how she responded with the Charlotte uprising. Mm-hmm. I'm getting the same feeling with how Val Alves is not responding to this situation.
Oh, she's not.
But it's actually worse. Yeah. Because I see this coming from progressives. I see it coming from her own supporters that are saying they're disappointed. I see it coming from I believe the demographic she's most afraid of, and I'm not, but some people who run for office in Charlotte, they're most afraid of that white women vote. They only represent they're very vocal, but they represent a very, very small percentage.
You know what I kind of feel, and I hate because we're out of time. Yeah. But she doesn't give a nickel what's going on in the city because her expectations are at a higher level. She's probably want to run, and she wants to keep Happy up in Raleigh. She wants to have a group up there that will support her. So she doesn't really care what's going on here. That's my feeling.
Well, and that is a valid feeling to have, because all you can go by is what she has, what we've seen from her, uh-huh. Because she has, and we know that. I know she cares in her heart, but I do think that this is and I would say this about anybody. There are certain people that job that they apply for just is not the right mix for them.
No.
She is probably going to be a good CEO of a nonprofit, mm-hmm. or a good bureaucrat, or a good person who can not stay the safe road. Mm-hmm. But for elected public service in the fastest growing city, the most diverse city, that. I just don't think that she is. I don't think her skill set has prepared her for this type of situation. And I'm not saying that she's not a good mayor. I'm just saying is that there are certain times where you give people an opportunity to do a job and they just don't do it. And I've had many times where I've had to tell people, I need to send you back into the industry, as we call it. And so I'm saying, this is, and you could tell that on Monday's city council meeting where she said, you could see the angst in her face where people were saying stuff, and it was hurting her inside. And I didn't, and under my breath, I almost wanted to say, if this is so hurtful for you to hear, why did you apply for the job?
That's my question.
Why do you apply for a job that you complain about?
That's my question.
And we would say that to anybody.
Or you don't know where to go or how to do.
So whenever I hear someone like her or or anyone on the dais or any elected official say, I have to make tough decisions. Did you not know that before you applied for the job?
Correct.
Can you imagine if you and I went to apply at any job in America and sat there and they said, why do you want this job? Well, I want this job. Now, tell me an example. Usually the question in an interview is, tell me how you overcame one of the biggest challenges. Can you imagine if you had said, well, I don't like to approach challenges because, this. That's part of your job. Yeah. And so when I hear an elected public servant saying, I've got a tough decision. Yes! Duh! That's the job that you applied for. If you don't like that job, don't take the job.
And it's not only a big
don't
decision
complain about the
that
job.
you have to make. It's a decision that you have to collaborate with everyone else and agree with them.
Exactly.
You know, so...
Anyways,
our time has flied.
And that is what we have to, as Latinx individuals, we have to apply the same standards that are applied to us in the real world to our elected officials.
Correct.
So if we're held by those standards, and almost everyone is held by those standards, we have to hold our elected public servants when they're running for office, like we're going to see in the 9th, we're going to see in the congressional 3rd. We have to apply those same standards. We have every right to ask those candidates, where do you stand on 287G?
Yep.
Where do you stand on ICE? Do you stand for the border wall? Do you believe in immigration? We have every right to ask those questions. And when they don't answer those questions, we have every right to be vocal and say that is not acceptable. Just as much as the LGBT community has every right to ask them, where do you stand on bathroom and equality? Just as women have every right to say, where do you stand on ERA, abortion, Black Lives Matter? Everyone has the right to ask those questions.
Yep.
And we have candidates that purposely
don't
answer. We have every right to call them out and say, this is the job you're applying for. If this is too much for you, don't apply for the job.
Correct.
You put your big boy pants on or your big girl pants on and act like an adult and apply. If you don't want the job, don't run for the job. So, whew,
we just need
Ruth,
three
it's
things
so great
from
to have
her.
you back.
3 things. A letter.
Yes.
We want her to bring in immigration reform into our general assembly's agenda. And we just need her support.
Exactly.
That's all we're asking.
That's right.
And that's a piece of sugar candy.
And even with everything we've said, and we're over, and I apologize, people probably have already clocked out. Even with everything over, we're welcome to support you, Mayor Lyles, Julie Eisel. Just show us some compassion. Just show us some consistency. We forgive and forget as a community. So Blau Catering, please give her a call, 704-805-0269. Also, Kali Lilies, event coordinator and talent agency. If you want to advertise on our show or one of our projects, 980-477-1513. And since you're back and we're ending, we're going to end on what I started when you were on our shows before. Alexa, play Pandora.
Oh. Share radio from Pandora.
Oh,
wait, Alexa, stop.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop.
Anyways, we forgot to read our amendment.
Okay, we're going to read the constitutional quote of the week. I'm so, how appropriate. Amendment 10. Do you want to read it or you want me to?
You go ahead.
Okay. Amendment 10. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people.
I love Michael Zagato.
I have to make a joke. We're going to have someone. I can't believe those Mexicans played that Mexican music when they were reading the Constitution of America. Well, all right. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you next week. And if you watch this later, please, I apologize for going over. And thank you for being with us.
No, my pleasure.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Hasta luego. Coffee.